make sure it's in neutral.
You know, I'm just curious, since it's got mechanical brakes, if it would be good for Emily to set in there maybe? Because once it hits the wheel, we don't want it to get away from it because it has brakes.
Clutch, I mean, it feels like it has brakes.
We could push it back a little. You could push it back a little ways and see if the brakes work. You ready?
Yeah, let's just get it out of here real quick. All right, Emily, see if you can operate these brakes.
Just in case.
Work.
Okay. The brakes in the middle.
This?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna hold the steering wheel.
All right.
Oh, should I let go? Brake.
No, let go of the brakes. Straighten the wheel out. Oh, yeah, keep turning it. Yeah. All right. There we go. Straighten it out. All right. Turn the wheel.
Mom, I'm gonna send it to Tracy.
This friggin' winch. Hit the brakes. It's kind of, go ahead. There we go. Yeah. Now as we're getting this car home, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video. The Upside app helps you earn literal cash back on things like groceries, food, and gas. There are over 100,000 businesses on the Upside app right now, so earning real cash back is never far away from you. Once you get on the Upside app, just claim an offer for somewhere near you with whatever you're going to buy anyway, pay as usual with a debit or credit card, follow the steps in the app, and earn cash back. Like today, I went out to eat lunch to save myself some time. I claimed an offer on the Upside app for lunch and earned cash back right away. The Upside app helps you earn money back at the pump so you can stretch that dollar just a little bit further. You can earn real cash back at places you go every day, like Wendy's, Chipotle, Arby's, Chevron, Exxon, Circle K, Papa John's, Dairy Queen, and more. Now, frequent Upside users are earning on average of $300. To see how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download the free Upside app and use my code TRAVISB to get 25 cents off of every gallon of your first tank of gas. Now, let's get back to the video. So the car is back at the house, safe and sound. Let's take a look around this thing, a little walk around and see what we're working with. And I'll tell you a little bit about it and what I know. So this is a 1931 Ford Model A. I believe that Model T production stopped in 1927 and then Model A production started shortly after that. And this being a 31, this is 1 year before they introduced the flathead V8, which was in 1932. Now the gentleman that owned this car passed away and his family reached out to me and asked if I had any interest in it. And I said, yes, I sure do. And we were able to make a deal on it and I picked it up. They said it was running a few years ago, but then it stopped running and he couldn't get it to run again. And the reason why I was very interested in this car is because look how original it is and look at the shape of this car. I mean, just the condition is immaculate. To find one of these in this kind of original shape is just doesn't happen. They were so wildly popular to hot rod that finding them like this is actually harder than a hot rod. When the Model A was introduced, this 4-cylinder produced a whopping 40 horsepower, double what the Model T produced. So big step up there. It could go 45 miles an hour. He was a very innovative guy. Now by turning the fan, motor is not locked up, and if you listen, you can hear compression. Hear that? So it's got compression. It's not locked up. This ran some years ago, probably 10 years or less ago it ran. So coming into the inside, we got 4 doors, which you guys know I like 4 doors. Suicide doors. Suicide doors just means it opens from the front and not the back like typical. They don't make them like this now. But take a look at this interior. I mean, I can smell it from here, and it's not a bad smell. I always like the smell of these old interiors, just aged, you know? And it is just immaculately clean in here, because this looks very old, very original. Got the hand crank windows, still work. Doors are loose. I mean, this is much better shape than I normally get cars in. You guys know what I bring home, so I'm very excited about this. We got keys. Love having keys. Half the time I don't get keys either. Gotta hot wire everything. We got an e-brake. Seems to be working. E-brake's not locked up. Transmission's free. Put it in neutral. And look at these original floors. Wood. These weren't made out of all steel. The steel was just wrapped around a wood body, really, is what it was. And look at the headliner. The headliner is in such good shape. The seats, the door panels. I mean, you can even see the blind they had back here. Look at this. I mean, that's gotta be, I mean, look at how delicate it is. Look, it's so delicate. That has to be original. I believe this is the original headliner. We have a dome light right there. We got hand crank windows on the sides. I believe these are the original sconces. They weren't lights, but they would have held flowers. And to me, this harkens back to the carriage days. If you see old carriages, horse-drawn stuff, they would have the fancy ones. They'd have sconces in them like this, where they'd hold flowers. And you know, in the day, these were called horseless carriages. A lot of the carriage building technology transferred over into cars, and so, you know, some of that stuff carried over, and I think this is one of those things. But even down to the weather stripping, look at the weather stripping is still on it. That is just so crazy for me to see. The interior, they don't do interiors like this anymore. See this foam right here? Well, it's not even foam, this packing. This is not, they haven't done this for many decades. So I am gonna say this is original. I mean, just the age on it, the fading on it. This does not look like it's been redone. Unless I'm mistaken, it doesn't look redone. I mean, this is like really a time capsule piece of history. And even down to how these doors shut. They shut perfectly. Listen to that. Nice and tight and solid. I can see that someone's redone the pinstriping right here, how it was red underneath and they redid it green. This could be a lot older of a restoration, but it's got white wall tires on it, the spoke rims, got the rear bumper on it, it's got the spare tire in it with the Ford cover on it. Kind of hard to see. You can see some possible patchwork right here, paint work or some kind of blended or something right here. I'm not 100% sure. You can see this old weather stripping. Looks very old and original. I think one of these is throttle and timing. I'm not sure. I've never driven one of these. I've never owned something this old, so I don't know which one's the starter and which one's the timing. I know you got to work them both to get it going. As you can see that it has 92,372 miles. The title does say that that is actual, so I'm not sure. Maybe that is 100% true. And another thing that really sold me on this car, when I opened up the driver's door and I looked in here, you can see this sticker. See that old Skelly sticker? That is an old service station sticker. I wish all of it was there so that I could read it. Maybe if I work it a little bit, I could try and read it. But yeah, Skelly is an old gas station chain company that is not around anymore. That's definitely not within the last 40 years. They didn't have steel going all the way across the roof, I think maybe to save money. So if you actually take this fabric off, it's a giant hole, really. I think there's just wood slats across it. I'm sure Henry Ford did that to save money, which was a smart move. But the fabric, whatever this is, canvas top, is it's in good shape. It's not tearing, it's not coming apart. It's just in such good shape. I'm so in awe of this car. It's got the old Awooga horn on it. Look at Ford. 2-light headlamp. Even the still says Ford. 2-light headlamp. Very cool. The only thing they said that they did do was they put a windshield in it kind of recently, and I can tell because this rubber right here is sticking out. I'll have to cut that or figure out fitment and whatnot, but let's check the gas. I do see some gas in there. Shake the car a little bit. Yeah, it's got gas in it. It doesn't smell super rancid, so. I do see some tape right here. Oh, it's just to cover up a hole. So I'm imagining this is where you fill it, but I am not sure where the dipstick is. Here we go. It has it up to the F. If you guys can see that, it's definitely on the F, and it doesn't look black and tarred out. Looks good. It's got some oil in it. No brake fluid to check. These still had mechanical brakes. He hadn't put juice brakes on them yet. And somebody was working on this. I think this motor might have been rebuilt just because of how nice the paint is and all that, but also these hoses, these radiator hoses right here, they're pliable, and this one is pliable too, and it also says Gates on it. So somebody was taking care of this and keeping it up and going. And this belt, made in USA. So I don't know, could be an old belt, but looks to be in okay shape. It's not torn up, rotted out, about to come off. Oh, it flips up. That's neat. There you go. You can see down in there, there's coolant. So it has, it's got antifreeze. But check out the underneath. That's where she really shines. How absolutely untouched, unmolested, not rotted out. Look at that. The floors are all in it. Still has the muffler, tailpipe, drive shaft, suspension stuff. Everything. I mean, some very light surface rust, but that is just immaculate. And coming back here where the leaf springs are, it's kind of funny. This is how they used to do it on the old horse carriages. The seats and stuff on the old horse and buggies. It just goes to, it really is a testament to how much really technology they transferred from horse and buggy making to cars. Because see, this has an old style mechanical brakes. I think this is a knee action shock, and then these two cables right here are for your mechanical brakes. They pull your brakes against your drum. Your oil pan, drain plug, you got your transmission drain and fill right there. I have the floor for this. That's why you can see the steering wheel. The cover comes off so you can get to the battery and stuff, but I have the cover. And again, look at the floors. Ultra clean. So much nicer than the stuff we usually buy. I'm just so impressed. I'm so impressed with how clean this thing is. HOUDE Engine Corp, Buffalo, New York. Wow. I mean, that's an original. I mean, this whole car is original. We got 5.7 volts. If this is a 6-volt battery, it should have 6.3 volts, so it's pretty dead. We got nothing going on there. I think that's our throttle. I don't know what that's for, maybe because I thought that was the starter switch, but it's just screwed into the to the floorboard, so I don't know what that's supposed to do. All right. Positive. We're getting a very dim light on the polarity check. So we got a real dead battery. Oh, I should turn this off of 12 volts. 6 volt fast/boost. So I've had the battery on charge for a bit. Let's see where we're at. We're at 6.1, 6.2. I mean, that should give us something. Let's try it. Oopsies. Took one of the caps off. The starter should have power all the time, shouldn't it, Dad?
Should.
Let's see if it'll even crank. It's in neutral. Not getting anything. Let me turn the key on.
Oh.
What's
Wait.
up? What?
You ready? I gotta turn it on.
Oh, there's a switch under there. Duh.
Alright, now it's on.
Okay. It's cranking, but real slow.
Yeah.
Battery's still probably a little dead.
Need that charger on it.
Let's try and see if it'll just... Key is on. I read online that this is the timing advance. Move that all the way to the retard position. Put the throttle up until you can see your fuel control to richen or lean it out, so it's off, and then you turn it 3/4 of the way on. Then it's also your choke. It's on?
Yeah, let's give it. See if it's gonna try to flood. A little gas, but
It's just not turning fast enough.
yeah.
Yeah, I can smell gas. We're getting power to the coil. You can see it right there.
Try the other side, just see if the points are closed and it's lit.
Yeah, it's lit. I'm just curious. You should have spark right here. You can see. Hear it? See how I'm getting spark? I'm trying to see. Can you hear it? See it? See that every once in a while? It's just, it's got spark. You can see it right there. But it's weak. Let me file it. So I did sand it, and the points did have a bunch of crud on them. You can see right here. All right. This is the rotor. So we're getting power to the coil. I don't get it. Got the charger in here. Polarity's good. Hooked it up right. fast, 6-volt fast. She's taking a lot of amps. 60. We're in the red. She's dead, man. That's a dead battery. Something that I noticed while I was trying to turn the motor over with the fan is the belt was really loose and then it got looser. Well, I noticed that this is not tight, this old 6-volt generator, so we're gonna tighten it up. Okay, key is on. Timing is backed off. Throttle is on some. Fuel on. Choke. Okay. Turn the fuel on. Is the battery on? Yeah.
Turn it over to the flat side. Let me make sure them points are closing. All right. Okay, so now turn it over a little bit. Make sure they're open. A little bit more. Slow down. Right about there. A little bit more. Okay. Yeah, there. Yeah. There's a gap. It ought to do something.
So this is the distributor cap, and we're getting spark in the distributor, but we're not getting it out to the plugs. And these, see how they're dirty right there, that black? It's supposed to be clean, so maybe if we
Also sand this off, because if it's not making contact, it ain't gonna send nothing out nowhere.
Okay. So I went ahead and cleaned these contacts off. You see they're nice and shiny now. They all had black on them. And I cleaned these off too, where the wires connect. Nice and shiny, clean, free of whatever carbon black debris. Rotor on. Cap.
Is that what this is for? Somehow.
There we go. Oh, nice. Nothing?
Hold on.
So we haven't been getting spark, and what I had to do was I had to loosen that set screw, screw this in, screw the points contacts in against the point, because I don't think they were touching. They were remaining open. And now we can get spark.
You can hear it, you can't see it. Yeah, sure.
Well, look at that. Wouldn't you know it, she purrs like a kitten. Sounds perfect. I got this off. Let's see if it's charging.
Well, that took you no time, huh?
6.5, 6.5.
The amp gauge works. charging.
I don't know why it's going all over the place. Hold on.
Oh, they all do that. Don't worry about it.
6.6,
Just
6.7.
10 amps.
If you look over here, look at that. Even the amp gauge is reading. Wow. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Yeah, it runs
That's
good.
You know time.
Yeah, it runs good.
So what was it?
It wasn't getting any spark.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't getting any spark. There was an adjustment issue and some contacts were dirty and it was adjusted wrong, and it just happens, you know. A lot of wearable items on these. So what do you think, your new daily driver? Emily's the one that said I should keep this.
Yeah.
How rare is that your own wife says, you should keep that car?
I don't say that about any of the cars he brings home.
But you want me to keep this one?
Yes.
Wow, doesn't it sound so good?
It does. It sounds real sweet.
Wow.
I don't know if we checked the oil or anything.
I checked the oil.
Oh, water.
No, it's got water and oil. Let's see if we can put the floor in it.
The wood part goes down.
There you go, there's your floor. And then there's probably a piece that goes here or something, I don't know. You can get to your battery, but I'm telling you, this is original. This does not look, they sell the wood kits for these, you know, to redo the wood, but I don't think that's part of the wood kit, or a new one.
A lot of that stuff wouldn't have made it when they switched it. They'd throw it away years ago.
Yeah. Let's try and drive this thing. It does run and drive and stop, which is really cool without even me taking the tires off. The brakes work. It's just amazing to me. But, you know, like everything, we're not totally out of the woods yet. The carburetor was dripping, but I think that's because it hadn't been ran in a while. It's since stopped dripping. I let it set with the hood up and the petcock on for the gas, and it wasn't dripping at all for hours and hours. So we're gonna call the carburetor good, even though I have ordered a kit for it just in case. Water pump is still dripping a little bit of water, just seeping just a hair. So I did order a water pump rebuild kit for that. These tires need to be addressed. They're dry rotted, they're cracked. I got two new good ones with the purchase, but I still need 2 more 19-inch white wall Model A tires. Got to check the transmission and the differential while our parts are coming in the mail. So as I'm going along and doing all this, I'm looking stuff up online. You know, I'm finding out quite a bit about these Model A's, and they're pretty cool. So we'll check it just like a differential, I guess. Just put your finger in it, see if it's up. These transmissions, they don't have synchronizers in them, and because of that, you're supposed to use a real thick gear oil to compensate for the gears you know, not having synchronization, because that wasn't around in 31. So let's see how far down we're at. Oh, did I touch some? I did. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. It definitely needs to be changed, I think. See how brown it is? And it's kind of foamy, you know, like it's been aerating. I drove it in here. Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely use a change. Nice and tight. Yeah, it's pretty thick. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. We're going, I don't know how much these take. Can't be much. These transmissions are tiny. You could fit them in the palm of your hand. Alright. The differential looks, it's just a square hole. Sometimes it's a ratchet end. It's not a 3/8. Half. Uh-oh. Well, I wasn't planning on that. I mean, usually it's a half or a 3/8 ratchet drive or whatever, but I don't have the specific tool for that. Man, alright, we're gonna have to make one then. Ow! I have this drawer full of old Allen heads that came with this toolbox when I bought it from the auction years ago. Maybe we can take one of these big old Allen heads and grind it down, you know, into a square. This one has some kind of nut bolted to it. I wonder if that'll fit. I don't know. Maybe we can. I need to use a bigger one. So I was messing around in my toolbox and I found this old drill extractor. I don't know if this is it's like an extracto bit or whatever, but this square almost fit perfectly in that hole. So I'm just going to grind this down a little bit. I've never used this tool before, so I don't feel too bad about it. There we go. Now it fits in there nice and solid. Get some vice grips on there and hopefully it'll come off.
You got a pipe wrench?
Oh, a pipe wrench. Oh, that's genius. I didn't think of that.
I love pipe wrenches. Things work.
That's smart. I didn't even think of that. I'm out. All I have is 80/90.
When I go home, I'll check and see which one I have. I don't know if it's 85/90 or 85/140. I'll check.
Easy as that. It's full.
Yeah, I'd leave it alone.
I'm still gonna change it. I mean, look at that. It don't look very good to me. There we go. Put some air in the tires.
Oh, did you?
No, I will. I will
Yeah,
right
they
now.
looked a little low.
They said 34 to 36 pounds, so. Can you turn that compressor on? Eh, 25, not too bad. We'll air them up a little, give it just a few extra miles per gallon. Oh wow, 40 already. Uh-oh. It's like a bicycle, they air up in 3 seconds. This one's pretty low. This one was at about 10. Hair a bit low, not bad. Yeah, 10. Pretty low. Can hear the whole car creaking. So I just went ahead and drained the oil out of it. It was low. I thought it wasn't low, but it actually was low. And it was also pretty dark and black. I mean, nothing major in there. No water, fuel, whatever. I just figured while I'm checking fluids and changing fluids, you know, might as well do all of them, including the engine. And I don't know when it was last changed or what, so. And the cool thing about this car is it's pre-oil filter, so you don't have to call up to the parts house and get a hold of somebody who doesn't know what a car is and try and get an oil filter. Just drain the oil out, put new oil in, and you're good to go. But because there's no oil filter, the engine absorbs all contaminants from combustion, so that's why the oil in these cars has to be changed more frequently. I don't know, somewhere probably 500 to 1,000 miles. I don't know how many quarts these take, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm using 1540 diesel oil. That's what I put in everything. And from what I've heard from many people, 1540 is okay to use. And I mean, really, whatever weight they used in this 100 years ago probably was just a straight weight oil. I've heard from many people that any oil from today is better than what they had in the 1920s, and I don't think 1540 diesel oil is going to hurt it any. Throw a little more in, assuming she'll burn some, lose some, drip some. So it's a few days later, and I'm continuing the maintenance on the Model A. I want to get everything squared away. I've actually been driving it for the past few days. It's a really fun car to drive. But I understand now why today we have gas stations, and back in the day they had service stations, not just gas stations, full service stations, because these cars have so many different grease certs, grease points, oil points. You oil the horn. Yeah, you oil the horn. So I understand why they used to have service stations, and they really used to service your car, because man, these things, for being as simple as they are, they're kind of complicated. There's a lot to remember when it comes to greasing these things. So let's get into all that. So the first thing we're going to lube, which I've heard is one of the most important things you can lube if you are going to do this, is the distributor. I'm going to be using some super white lithium grease. Put a little bit on your hand, maybe about yay much. And you just put it on the distributor shaft where it goes against the points. Maybe that's a little much. You don't got to get it all the way around, because once it turns, it's going to get it everywhere anyway. So there is a little grease point right here. I actually have this little oil thing I bought. It actually had sewing machine oil, but I drained it out and I put some 1030 in there because I need this little spout to do a bunch of other stuff on this car. Just pull it out, put some drips in there, and then that should be good. Rotor back on, our cap. And then coming in here, you can see right here there is the throttle linkage. So this gets a few drops of oil. Maybe a little too much, but that's okay. And then here on the other side by the head stud, there's a few drips that need to be in there. There we go. So you can see right here there's two different spots. So this like rag right here, so you lubricate that. Make sure that's nice and good. And then there is one here. See that rag? Saturate it. Turn it over a little bit. we go. There we go. She's spinning nice and fast, nice and fast. Remember, we don't have juice brakes. We got mechanical brakes, so linkages go to every single brake. So every contact point on the brakes need to be lubricated. Everywhere where there is a joint like that, just soak them down. I may be putting a little bit too much, but oh well. So now we're under the front of the car where the battery is. We're right beneath the driver's seat where we have more brake lines. There we go. There we go. Now this is the passenger side of the car. We got one here. Oh yeah. And then heading all the way to the back tire, we have one of these is the e-brake and one of them is the regular brake. So we got two pivot points. Put a few dribbles on. Oh, yeah, we got it. Passenger side. Get it on the top, it'll soak in. Wood blocks that hold it to the frame. That old rubber pad. That's factory. I don't think that's been redone. Wow. So cool. So cool to work on a piece of history. I mean, this is like a real piece of history. I mean, a living piece of history. Living and breathing right here. Got some more wood blocks here. On the other side, driver's side, right here with the rubber pads to mount it to the frame. Mount the body to the frame. Even these drain holes for water in the back are perfectly, I mean, they're perfect. Not rotted out or anything like that. You can still make them out perfectly. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It really is. Cool car. So now that we've lubricated all of the brake lines and all the moving parts associated, let's get these tires off. I haven't even checked the brakes. I mean, they work good, but I want to check the brakes, make sure the shoes are good and all that good business. It seems a little loose, like they didn't quite tighten up that spindle nut. Hear that? I mean, from everything I know about spindles, you're not supposed to have them crazy tight, but they're supposed to be tight enough to where they have no play, because you'll wear the bearings out fast. See that? See how it's just hand tight? It's not supposed to be hand tight. Whoa! Taper bearings, man. What? Way ahead of his time. Man, even in the 50s they were using roller bearings on GM cars, like bicycle bearings, but bigger ball bearings. I don't like that idea. He was using taper bearings in the friggin' 30s? Smart man. That's what we use today even. So this grease looks good. It looks a little old, but it's you know, this isn't 100-year-old grease. This is not original, which it's just fine. I don't want original grease. I like originality, but you know. Let's see. Oh no, that bearing's good. I don't know how old they are. I mean, they look old. They don't look like any brake shoe I've ever seen. I mean, just the pattern on them. See how they're like the color on them, they look weird. They don't look like anything I've ever seen. Look at that. Brass riveted. That's crazy. I wonder how old these are. Well, typically what they have nowadays is bonded brake shoes, where you have the metal holder and then the shoe part, which is glued, bonded to it. They used to rivet them back in the old days. Sometimes you get new shoes that have rivets on them, but just the way these shoes look, I mean, these are old. I don't know how old they are, but boy, they are old. I've never seen shoes that have that kind of pattern or color. And you see they're riveted right here and here. You can see like they're, whatever that is, brass riveted? I don't know. And they look in good shape. I'm not gonna change them. They look good to me. That lug nut wasn't even tight. I saw it move before I even hit the gun. That's why you always check all this stuff. Doesn't matter how nice the car is, you know, or even if stuff works, you know. You don't know how close it is to not working until you check it. You always verify yourself. Never trust a car. Never trust anyone you buy it from who says, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, I just did it. Just did it is a relative term. Now, nobody guaranteed me anything, that they did anything when I bought this car. I'm just saying that you have to verify everything yourself. You are opening yourself up to risk and danger. Hand tight. I don't know if that's a Model A thing or what, but that just doesn't seem tight enough. Hand tight on bearings is not tight enough. These look the same. I mean, is that asbestos brake lining than what they had back in the friggin' day? Usually I would soak these in gasoline, get all the old grease off of them, and then repack them. But this grease is new enough to where it's not that bad. So I'll just leave whatever old grease on there, just wipe it off. Whoop, whoop. Repack them as they are and put them back on. All right, that one's done. On to the big one. So the other side is repacked. Got grease everywhere. Go ahead and put this hub back on. In there. Ooh. Like that. And then our holding nut. All right, hear it? Hear that? You want to go until you just can't hear it anymore, to where you have no play. Yeah, see that? And you can't hear that little knocking. Now these don't have dust caps. The tire has the dust cap on it, so this is just stays like that. And we'll check them by hand when we're done. Now I should have done this before I put the tire on the other side because it would have been easier, but these friction shocks, they have oil in them, and we're going to check it, make sure it's good, put some in it if it's low. I'm not really sure if how well these are actually working right now, but we'll fill them with oil. And I see it rising, it's going to start coming out. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this one's got a spindle deal on it too. Huh. Alright. So the brake drum has some ridges. I mean, pretty significant ridges, but so there's two sets of shoes here. The e-brake shoes are its own set, and the regular shoes are its own set. They don't really look like they need to be serviced. There's plenty of meat on both of these. This looks a lot older than this. But as far as the rear wheel bearing goes, it's also a taper bearing, which is genius, love that. But it doesn't really look like there's enough, I don't know, grease on it. Like, it just looks like there should be a little more on it. But the cool thing about these is you don't take them out and repack them. There's actually a grease zert fitting on the back where you can grease it, you know, like service this without having to take it apart and grease it. This zert fitting right here, you can squirt and it greases that wheel bearing. So with this hub off, I want to grease this and see where that grease is coming out, make sure that it's taking grease, because I do not want a burn up wheel bearing when I'm driving this. So here's the grease gun with the Model A fitting on it. You can see it has this sort of flange look in there, the opposite machining of what the zert is. So it should fit in there snugly. The ball bearing we have now is a little more solid, but yeah, we'll give this a shot. I mean, it's taking. Is it coming out anywhere? I don't see it coming out anywhere. Grease should be coming out there, but when the drum is on, the grease will come out here and it will fill the bearing instead of just coming out. Oh, there it is. I made sure to put a bunch of grease on the bearing itself. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. I almost forgot. I want to check this friction shock. I actually already put the tire on and had to take it back off. I forgot. Man. The amount of grease fittings and things to check on this car is really exhausting, actually. If you didn't look it up and know what you were doing, man, you'd miss a lot of this stuff. I mean, there's stuff that you grease on this that you would, I mean, they're just throwaway items on new cars, you know, greasing shocks and greasing brake linkages. You got to be careful, you know, make sure you do it all, because you'll be going down the road and you'll just be burning everything up. All right, that's full. So the driver's side is a little bit different story. Brake shoes look good, but see how there's grease everywhere? It's not supposed to be inside the housing with the brake shoes. You can see it's caked all up here and all down here. See all that? All that grease. So this wheel seal has failed. The other one had a modern style rubber lip ring style seal, and it was good. It was fine. This one's got the older style like felt seal, and they work good, but it's just old and bad. So what I might do just to get this car going is grease the bearing and stuff and put it back together, but I'll order a seal for that. We'll put a new seal in it, but it's good to just get in here and see the condition of everything. We can drive it on that for now, knowing that we need a seal for it. It's not a big deal. I think we're like right there. Yeah. One more oil point on the car I've been meaning to get to, but I keep getting caught up in other things. It's the steering box. Yeah, I want to make sure that's nice and oiled. So, let's get our oil. That's grease. That's grease. That's not right. I've read about this, is that people will put grease in there instead of oil, and you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, this thing is full of grease. That's not good. Well, I don't really know how to get all that out of there to fill it with, you know, oil without taking this all apart and whatever. So what I might do for now is just fill it with oil as best I can and just kind of run with it for now. Well, we filled it with oil as best we can for now. I mean, without taking that whole thing apart. So here we go. Starting with the first 6 on the passenger side. See if any of them take or what. Oh yeah. First one took. I hear it. I hear something. Oh. Yep. We got red grease on the other side. Alright, it's coming out. I see it. I don't know if this is... Alright, that one took. Oh, there it is. Alright, and our last one. Yep, our kingpin, I can see it. I can see it coming out over there. Yep. Oh. No. Oh, yeah, buddy. It took. This one over yonder. No. There we go. All right. She took. Yep. I hear it taking. Maybe it's coming out the other side. Yeah, I see it. I don't see it yet. It's taken though. Yeah, it's coming out the other side. See it? There it is. I see it coming out the other side, so we're good there. And what is going on with this guy? Oh, somebody put a bunch of thread tape around this, which really you don't need because 1, this isn't liquid, and 2, it's pipe thread. It's self-sealing. You shouldn't need thread tape. They stripped the threads out. See that? Strip the threads out. Well, I don't know. Maybe if we just put this up against it. I don't know. Well, they all took, kind of, except for this one. I believe somebody messed this up. Well, I almost forgot. There is another grease point on the car. Surprise, surprise. And on these cars, you'll grease the throwout bearing. And then there's a panel here. Take this off. Ta-da! And then there's a cover. Bingo, baby. There it is. There you are. Way down in that hole. Alright. Right there. And that's our last fitting. This, I gave it 3 good pumps. I don't see it coming out anywhere, but I don't know if you're really supposed to. Oh yeah, I can see the bearing moving because grease is filling it. So we gave it about 3 or 4 good pumps, and I'm sure that's very easy to miss when you're greasing these cars. So good thing we did that. Who knows when the last time that was done. Well, this 1931 Model A officially runs and drives. This is such a cool car. I think this is a keeper for now. It's too much fun. It's such an iconic car, and let's face it, I never get a hold of anything this nice. It didn't run when we got it. Engine runs great now. We greased and oiled everything on the car. Now it's good for another whopping 500 miles before we have to do it all again. These cars are just so neat. They were made in a time when the world was much smaller and much slower. Henry Ford did achieve his vision. His goal with the car was so that the city person could go out where the country is and the farmer could get out where the city person is. This was part of that history. Look where we are today. Because Henry Ford put us on 4 wheels without a horse,